US President Donald Trump talks a lot about
deficits. Trade deficit. The United States has a very large deficit. America has a huge annual trade deficit with China.
Trump launched a trade war with China, partly because he thinks the trade imbalance, that's the US importing far more goods from China than China exports here, harms economic growth. But notice I said goods. In 2016, the US imported around $462 billion worth of goods from China. And it exported just $115 billion worth. That's a deficit of $347 billion, and it's increased even more since then. But for some experts, those numbers don't provide the full picture on trade. There are scores of US multinationals like Starbucks doing business in China and generating huge sales there. And those companies recorded $345 billion worth of sales in China in 2016, the most recent numbers. So let's look at that 2016 deficit again. Imagine we counted those sales by US companies as an export to China. We'd add 345 to 115 for a total of 460 billion against Chinese imports totaling 462 billion. Suddenly, that's a tiny deficit of $2 billion. But that isn't the way the current trade balance or imbalance is calculated by the US. So for now, that deficit is, officially at least, too big for the Trump administration. Owen Fairclough, CGTN, Washington.